Hello, everybody. Greetings on this rather grim evening. It's a little bit wet. I wanted to do a live for you. Really, it's a subject that's come up several times over the years. And if you've actually seen me at a live event talking on real estate, for example, you may have seen me do this exercise before. But that said, excuse the scaffolding outside the window, by the way. That said, I think it's worth me doing it here because it's my way of pressing buttons. So it's one of the tools that I use when I'm communicating. And you may want to consider this if you're working with somebody, helping them to make a decision about their financial future and the decisions they have to make. A classic example, someone making a decision: should I get a coach? Should I sign up to this program? Should I invest this much money in myself? So it's an easy exercise for me to do with people, having been through it over the years. I've done it for myself on many occasions, and that is to weigh up the cost of doing something versus not doing it. That's an easy way for me to articulate it. And the way to explain that is I don't know what age you are. So for example, I had a group of people this weekend I was teaching, and the average age of the group by their own voting, this is online by the way, was around 40. So we had people at sort of 36, 37, 45, 50, 20 something. So I think we averaged out at 40 years of age. So here's the exercise I'm going to ask you to consider. According to the World Bank, now when I'm recording this, the figure as of now, 2020, is an average age in the United Kingdom of 82 years of age, life expectancy. All right, so 82 years of age. If you look, I think Switzerland has got the longest lifespan in Europe, which is 83. So we seem to be sort of floating between top 70s and early 80s. Someone like South Africa, I think I read, was 77, and there are certain European countries where it's certainly lower than us, but I think the Swiss are the highest. So let's sit with 82 years of age. Now, I want you to live a lot longer than that, and that's a conversation for another day, talk about health and vitality. But let's just take the statistics that, we've got to go off the average figures. So the way to calculate this is you deduct your current age from 82. So, I'm 55, so that's slightly less than somebody who's 40, isn't it? So let's take a 40-year-old. So 82 minus 40 tells that person how many years they've got left to live, according to the World Bank. That's also how many Christmases you've got left, how many summer holidays you've got left. Think about it like that. Oh my God, no, Dr. O. So in this example, 42 years. Then what I do is I get people to, and you can do this, I get people to say, well, look, if you could survive or live, or however you want to phrase it, I prefer to talk about thrive. What would be a figure you'd like to have? If you had a comfortable figure coming in every single year for the next 42 years that enable you to travel, to eat out and enjoy yourself, to look after your family, provide security, educate your children if you needed to, have an enjoyable and lovely home that you would like to have, not that you can only just barely afford, but actually that you want, in a location that you want, and go and have experiences that you want. You can have a car if you want, that you want on the drive, but not material things that you can just afford, but material things that you actually would like to experience. So we're talking about a comfortable lifestyle as opposed to surviving, and surviving is a very different experience altogether. That's a conversation for another day. So I did a poll this weekend, and it varied from people saying 85, 90,000 a year, 150,000 a year, 200,000 a year. So I kind of leveled it out 100 grand a year coming in from a business, whether it's real estate, whether it's an online business you've created, whether it's trading the markets, whatever, but it's kind of a regular income coming in. And let's say, for example, that is from a business stroke passive income model. All right, so let's pick 100 grand a year. So what that means is at the beginning of each year, this business is going to pay for that lifestyle. And I always make a joke and say you're knocking on the door on the 31st of December, and above there's a sign and it says financial freedom. The door opens and a huge person stands there, male or female, and they go, what do you want? And you say, I want freedom for this year. And they go, no problem, that's £100,000. So you pay them £100,000, okay? Now, having paid them, by the way, this is a good one to show a partner if you're wanting to learn, study, wanting to expand a business or invest in something for your business, and your partner saying, no, let's not do it. Maybe you could show them this video because it might inspire them to realize actually you have to buy that freedom and you're going to have to make the investment. So the next question then is, all right, so £100,000 a year, that buys you a year. So you pay freedom, thank you very much, and you've got your year. You go out, you live, you travel, you've got your home, all the things you like to do. You get to the end of the year, and let's say 2021 now, December 31st, you knock on the door, freedom. Hi, freedom, I want another year's freedom, please. No problem, give me another 100 grand. So that goes on for 42 years. So 42 times 100 grand puts us at 4.2 million. And this is a conversation I had with my audience this weekend, is your freedom is in the millions. Now there are pension calculators, and maybe actually what I might do is get on to go live through another system and actually show you something on a computer. But you can calculate this through a pension calculator as well. It's not very far different to this. So that means your freedom is actually worth 4.2 million for the next 42 years. So you're either going to work for that for someone else, think about that for a minute, put hours, sweat, blood in, or you're going to do something to create that, which then replaces it. So hopefully this is making sense. Maybe you can give me a wave or a thumbs up if anybody's watching and engaged enough to do that. This is a vital calculation. Your freaking freedom is worth that figure. Now, if you said to me, Ro, but I want a couple of £100,000 a year, then we're talking about £8.4 million. Thank you for whoever's waving. £8.4 million. Now that's no joke. And I think people forget that. Now there's several ways that we can do this. You can have a business that generates that, and you put a certain number of hours in and it creates that for you, but maybe not as hard as working in a job. Or you create a property portfolio that produces £10,000 a month, roughly £8,000 to £10,000 a month, and there's your £100,000 a year. Or it could be a mixture of that. You could be taking some yield or dividends from investment, some from passive income, some from an online business. Either way, Ryan Pinnock's calculator just exploded. Brilliant. That's because he's a big thinker. But it's a brilliant pressure calculation. It's one of those things when you lay it out in front of a group of people or an individual, they just go, fuck, that is so true. Because so here I am, right? I'm having a conversation with somebody, and this is a classic example, a few months ago, 20 grand investment in an education for building a business, real estate, etc. And they're like, I don't know, I spoke to my wife about it. It seems expensive. Whoa, hold on a minute, back up a minute. You're 38 years of age. That means you got to stay in your, I don't want to be in my job. Well, in that, so here's the thing. If you are not prepared to invest in what's the freedom worth? Are you prepared to invest 100, 200, 300 grand to create 5 or 6 million pounds worth of financial freedom? The answer, of course, is yes, because it's a great return on investment. If you plugged 400 grand in to make 4.2 million, that's like a 10 to 1, isn't it? Return on investment. But you don't need to do that to build a business. Actually, if you educationally, you're probably looking at 100 to 1 return on investment. So I think my message is, if you're sat here and you're an educator, you're a coach, you work with people, you've got a partner that's slightly negative, sit down and show them the value to your life of this, what this freedom's worth to you. And then ask a serious question, honey, why are we even hesitating over making this investment into ourselves? And just get on and fucking do it. Because if you don't do it, you're just going to end up working for somebody else anyway. That's the bottom line. And I've watched people do this over the years. So that was it. That's all I wanted to say. You are worth millions. And my good friend Ryan definitely is worth millions. So look, if you've got somebody you care about and they're sitting on the fence about a decision like this, just have them have a look at this calculation. And they'll go, yeah, but that's just a theory. No, it's not the theory, because you're going to work for somebody. If you're on a 50 to 100 grand a year salary, you're going to fucking work for somebody anyway doing that. Except you're going to be putting the hours in as well. I'm talking about buying back that time, buying back that freedom, and putting the investment in your growth. Do you value yourself enough to invest 5, 10K, whether it's a personal development program like Ryan's Super Genius, or whether it's a wealth creation program, whatever it is, put the money into yourself so that you personally can expand into a position where you can attract that wealth to you. That's my message. I've got to go back downstairs, see my kids. Take care. Thanks, Ryan. Look up Ryan Pinnock, everybody. Awesome guy.